Alright, welcome back to another video. Today we are in the Great League Fossil Cup, and let's try out this team here, featuring the Shadow Magnezone with the Jellicent and the Lanturn in the back. So we got a Ferrothorn lead here that we have to deal with. Honestly, this is where we want to see the Ferrothorn, because definitely two waters in the back is not going to do well with it. So we do to stay in, and we do grab a shield from our opponent. We take this Power Whip. And at this point, all we have to do is just build up the two wild charges here and then potentially take it out. Here, we're going to shield once to get to the double wild charge. We fire off the first wild charge. They end up double shielding. So they definitely don't want to see this Magnezone in the back. We're going to go for another wild charge here. Then we're going to switch out into our Jellicent. The Jellicent is going to have to tank a move here. Ends up being the Power Whip. Makes sense. And then they have their own Lanturn in the back. So we're going to fire off a Shadow Ball here as we are about to go down. And then we're going to have our own Lanturn to match up against this own Lanturn. Here we have a decision if we want to shield or not. We decided to let it go. It ends up being the Serve bait. We're building up a ton of energy and hoping that the Lanturn will get us to win in the end. We see that they have the Thunderbolt and we are able to tank that. They're still staying in, so they definitely don't want to see this Lanturn, it seems like. We are gonna, okay, they go for the catch, and luckily we are able to keep on farming, and that is GG's for them because we had the Lanturn, and they still only had Manty in the back. So they actually were really concerned about seeing that Magnezone in the back, but that's a pretty standard team by them with the Ferrothorn and Lanturn with the Manty in the back. All right, we got the Sand Slash to deal with now. Both of us are dealing a lot of neutral damage, pretty much even with the fast move pressure. They go for the Ice Punch bait. We are able to tank that, and since we are able to tank that, we can just throw some mirror shots at this point. Trying to get to another mirror shot, unable to do that. They are able to fast move us down, but we're just going to come back in here with the Lanturn. This Lanturn is going to be able to tank the Ice Punch, and now we see that they have a Jellicent. So interesting counter to this Lanturn. Jellicent is not necessarily the counter to that. And the early shield indication shows us that they also don't want to see this Lanturn in the back. So we're going to shield, and they do get us on the bait. And we're going to let this one go. Ends up being another serve, so they go for the double bait situation. And now they are in a pickle because this is going to KO or is going to get the shield. And now it is GG's. We see another Manty in the back. So a lot of waters in the back right now that this Lanturn loves seeing. Luckily, we were able to call some baits on that last game, and we were able to wiggle out of that situation. So we got the Magnezone versus the Reggie here. We're going to play this a little bit different. So we're going to go for the Wild Charge immediately. This is going to do a good amount of damage, surprisingly enough, but they do decide to shield. So we're going to dip out of there, go into our own Lanturn. The Lanturn here is going to have to tank several moves. Zap Cannon goes through. We avoid the debuff, which is great. Here, we're just going to go for a serve, because hopefully we can get to another serve before they throw another move. But they are going to be able to throw the move right before we get to another serve. Zap Cannon gets used again, takes out our Lanturn, which is fine, because we do get this Reggie still low enough for a potential farm. Actually, we're just going to go for the farm down at this point. One show farm down, it seems to be the play. And we can potentially switch out eventually. So there you go. We do get the debuff, unfortunately. They switch out into, what is that? Swampert? Wow. So Swampert and Azumarill in the back. Another water, double water in the back. This Jellicent is going to have to win us the game. We're going to build up a ton of energy here. We know they pretty much only have Play Rough to affect this Jellicent. We do throw up a shield right there. Ends up being the Play Rough, so that's great news for us. We go for a Shadow Ball, getting this Azumarill into the low red. They're going to throw another Play Rough here. We can survive it easily. And now we're trying to see if we can farm. It was getting close. We're going to have to just throw this Surf here to get rid of their energy. So now we just got to make sure we get this Swampert at about the 50% mark, because we do have a Wild Charge saved up on our Magnezone. So we just go for multiple Surfs here. This Surf here will go through, get it into the 50% mark, and we should be good because they did throw energy onto this Jellicent. Hydro Cannon does get released, and you can see right here, we are very close to two Wild Charges. One Wild Charge, boom! Down goes the Shadow Swampert at roughly 50% health. That's quite insane for a resistant move, by the way. All right, nice plays. Yeah, the Magnezone with the Jellicent core is the main theme here, and we have the Lanturn just as a generalist. All right, great lead here. Expecting them to switch out. What is that? Oh, Wishcash is a problem. Wishcash is going to be able to get to these moves quite quickly. We're going to throw a shield here, and then we're just going to throw this Wild Charge to deal probably like 40% damage, 30%. Okay, it actually does roughly like 40, 45. And then we're going to switch out into our Jellicent here. Hopefully we can pressure some shields. We're going to keep building. Okay, there you go. There goes another Mud Bomb. And then let's see if we can get to another move here. Oh, unfortunately, they are able to get to another Mud Bomb. And we just hoped that we could survive that. But unfortunately, that last Mud Bomb took out all that energy. So that hurt. That definitely hurt. We're going to see another Quagsire. Wow. So this is unfortunately would have been a terrible situation either way. Even if we taken out that Wishcash, we have a Lanturn in the bag, and this has no play against this Quagsire. So kind of a really, really good core breaker to the team are these Mud Boys, obviously. But this was just a little bit unfortunate. We did have a small chance, but even if we had taken out that Swamp or Wishcash with our Jellicent, they would have just come back in with their Telebear to potentially take out our Jellicent, and then we would have been a still tough situation with double electrics versus their Swampert or Quagsire, excuse me. All right, here we got the Lanturn versus our Magnezone. We're going to tank the first Surf, and at this point here, we're going to throw a Mirror Shot and try to get a shield. We do grab a shield, and then we're going to switch into our Lanturn. The Lanturn versus the Lanturn is kind of just to soak up all this energy. Thunderbolt does get revealed. Our opponent here is building up a lot of energy. We're going to throw this Thunderbolt to get some big damage or potentially get a shield. Looking for the farm down. Unfortunately, no farm down. That's really good for them. Thunderbolt does get used by them. We are able to barely survive. And unfortunately, unable to get to a Surf right there. That would have been helpful. Definitely can't come into the Magnezone versus Excavalier, so we're going to use our Jellicent here. This Jellicent is going to have to win us the game, so we're just going to see how this runs. So Drill Run does get used, interesting enough. And then we're just going to go for the Shadow Ball. We're going to press the shield, or it's going to get the KO. Okay, they end up using the shield. Now we're going to throw up a shield here. Let's see what moveset they're running. Arrow, Ace, Drill Run. Okay, makes sense. And then at this point here, we're going to over-farm double shield here, anticipating like a Poliwrath or some kind of Jellicent, I could see. We're going to go for this Shadow Ball. Try to undercharge right there, but unfortunately, it's still KO'd. So we're going to have to try to either Shadow Ball and catch a move or get them to use some energy right here. They do decide to throw a move. Icy Wind does get revealed. We're going to switch out, and then, oh, we couldn't get the Wild Charge off. Unfortunately, it looked like it was a little bit over tab, but check out this team if you haven't already, and let us know if you enjoyed the video.